The great ship moved through the water like a ghost, crowned with four immense funnels that breathed faint smoke into the star-filled sky. It was a majestic sight, a floating palace that seemed invincible, gliding effortlessly through the calm waters. Below the Atlantic was a vast, dark mirror, still, cold and silent. The ocean's surface reflected the stars above, creating an illusion of endless space and tranquility. On deck, 1,000 lights promised safety and luxury, but beyond them, darkness watched with patient indifference. The ship's passengers, unaware of the lurking danger, reveled in the opulence and comfort. This is the story of the Titanic, but not the one you think you know. It's a tale of mystery, of unseen forces, and of fate's cruel hand. We all know the ending, the iceberg, the sinking, the loss of life. But there's more to this story than meets the eye. But what if the real story is hidden beneath the waves, in whispers, strange coincidences, and unanswered questions? What if the truth lies in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered? The Titanic's fate was sealed not just by an iceberg, but by a series of choices and omens long before it set sail. Decisions made in boardrooms, on docks, and in the hearts of men. On April 14, 1912, the unsinkable ship struck a glancing blow against an iceberg, fatal but barely felt by many. The collision was subtle, almost imperceptible, yet it sealed the ship's fate. In less than 3 hours, the vessel would break apart and plunge into the abyss, taking over 1,500 souls with it, a tragedy of unimaginable scale, forever etched in history. But to understand why, we must look past the chaos of the sinking, and into the quiet days and weeks before. We must delve into the decisions, the warnings, and the overlooked signs. Was the Titanic truly a victim of fate, or was it guided toward disaster by hidden forces and forgotten decisions? The answers lie in the shadows, waiting to be revealed. The myth of the unsinkable ship began not with its builders, but in whispers and headlines. Long before Titanic set sail, the world was already captivated by the idea of a vessel that could defy the sea itself. A technical article in the Shipbuilder described Titanic's watertight compartments, meant to keep her afloat even if flooded. These innovations were marvels of their time, and the details quickly spread beyond engineering circles. The press seized on this, transforming engineering detail into legend. Headlines boasted of a ship that could not be sunk, and the public imagination ran wild. The White Star Line never officially called her unsinkable, but let the myth grow. It was perfect marketing. The aura of invincibility drew crowds and filled cabins, making Titanic the talk of every port. Passengers and crew believed it, and when disaster struck, many refused to accept the ship could sink. The myth was so powerful it shaped their actions in those crucial moments. Some joked about the impact, others hesitated to leave the warmth of the saloons for the cold uncertainty of a lifeboat. The comfort of the legend made the danger seem distant, almost impossible. The legend became a dangerous lullaby, blinding people to the possibility of failure. It lulled them into a false sense of security, even as the ship's fate was being sealed. The Titanic was more than steel and rivets. It was a promise that technology had conquered nature. It stood as a symbol of human progress, a floating palace that seemed to defy the very elements. But that powerful story, meant to inspire confidence, may have contributed to the disaster. The belief in her invincibility was both her greatest strength and her fatal flaw. The myth of invincibility lingered, even as the Atlantic poured in, a silent, deadly refutation. Reality shattered the illusion, but by then, it was too late for so many. In the end, the legend that made Titanic famous also made her tragedy inevitable. The story of the unsinkable ship became a cautionary tale, echoing through history. Strange events clung to Titanic before she ever touched the Atlantic. 14 years earlier, a novel called Futility told of the Titan, an unsinkable liner that struck an iceberg and sank in April with too few lifeboats. During Titanic's construction, a coal bunker fire smoldered for days, possibly weakening the hull where the iceberg would strike. On departure, Titanic's massive propellers nearly pulled the SS City of New York into a collision. averted at the last moment, delaying her by an hour. Alone, these are coincidences. Together, they form a pattern. A novel's premonition, a stubborn fire, a near miss in the harbor, each a whisper of catastrophe to come. It's as if fate's clock was ticking, aligning small moments toward disaster. The Titanic was haunted by omens long before the iceberg appeared. These were the ghosts of fate, gathering in the shadows. The true mystery began before the voyage ever did. In the days before disaster, the air was thick with warnings, as if the sea itself was trying to speak. The atmosphere on board was tense, yet filled with anticipation for the journey ahead. Titanic's Marconi wireless crackled with urgent messages. Icebergs ahead, ice fields reported by ships like the Coronia, Baltic, and America. Each transmission was a thread in a web of caution stretching across the Atlantic. Some warnings reached Captain Smith, but the urgency was lost amid the rush to make headlines in New York, and the confidence in Titanic's invincibility. The bridge was busy, the crew focused on speed and prestige. The most critical warning came from the SS Californian: "We are stopped and surrounded by ice." It was a message that should have changed everything. But Titanic's operator, overwhelmed with a flood of passenger telegrams and commercial chatter, brusquely replied, "Shut up, I am busy." The weight of responsibility pressed heavily on him. The Californian's operator, feeling dismissed and exhausted, turned off his radio, and the last warning faded into silence, lost in the cold night. Titanic steamed on at full speed, deaf to the danger ahead, her lights blazing against the darkness, unaware of the peril lurking just beyond sight. The faith in the ship's strength, the pressure for speed, and the distraction of luxury all combined to create a fatal silence. The passengers reveled in opulence, oblivious to the mounting danger outside. The ignored warnings would soon be replaced by the sound of tearing steel, a noise that would echo through history. The tragedy was not just in the collision, but in the missed chances to avoid it. Every overlooked message was a lost opportunity for salvation. The Marconi waves carried echoes of warning, unheeded, and soon too late. The silence that followed was heavy with regret. The disaster was set in motion by human choices as much as by ice, a chilling reminder that fate is often shaped by what we choose to ignore. The Titanic's story is shaped not only by those aboard, but by those who weren't. In the weeks before sailing, a surprising number of wealthy and prominent passengers canceled at the last minute. J.P. Morgan, Henry Clay Frick, George Vanderbilt, and others. Their reasons varied: illness, business, or a sudden, inexplicable feeling. Guglielmo Marconi, inventor of the wireless, chose another ship just days before. These empty cabins became silent testaments to luck and fate. Was it coincidence, intuition, or something more? For every tragedy on the Titanic, there was a parallel story of inexplicable fortune. The official story is simple. Titanic hit an iceberg, but alternative theories persist. Was it just ice, or a perfect storm of flaws? Some point to the coal fire that may have weakened the hull, making it more vulnerable. Others blame brittle steel and weak rivets, which could have failed under stress. There are even claims of navigational errors or a helmsman's momentary mistake in crisis. Some suggest the ship scraped along a submerged shelf of ice, causing a long gash the design couldn't withstand. The truth may be a combination: fire, weak materials, human error, and a uniquely devastating impact. The sinking was not just an accident, but a convergence of misfortune. As Titanic's bow slipped beneath the waves, a strange calm settled over the ship. The orchestra played cheerful tunes on the deck, a surreal soundtrack to disaster. Clocks ticked toward 2:20 a.m., measuring the last minutes of a vanished world. Distress rockets lit the sky, but the nearby Californian misunderstood their meaning. Lifeboats rowed away, as the ship's lights flickered and died, the stern rising against the stars. Titanic broke in two and plunged into the abyss. Then came the cries of over 1,000 people in the freezing water, a symphony of sorrow fading into silence. The night ended with only the lapping of waves against the lifeboats, The tragedy was not just in the loss, but in the haunting calm and missed connections. The final moments were a quiet farewell to an era's greatest dream. Today, Titanic rests in darkness, 2.5 miles beneath the Atlantic. Expeditions have brought back haunting images: boots on the seabed, a champagne bottle, the silent telegraph. The wreck is vanishing, consumed by rust and time, taking its secrets with it. The last survivors are gone. Only echoes remain in documents, artifacts, and legend. The more we study Titanic, the more complex the story becomes. A web of fire, steel, warnings, and fate. Was it a tragic accident, or the inevitable result of a chain of events and human pride? The ship keeps its ultimate mystery, inviting us to keep searching and questioning. The night the unsinkable dream went down, the world learned that even our greatest creations are fragile.